This man is often cited as having an association with the moon landing hoax. I think that's a red herring. This is the man that everyone should be looking at as far as the moon landing hoax. Ray Harryhausen, 60s, 70s special effects genius. I've cited him before with his Jason the Argonaut special effects, comparing it to NASA, and going one step further. I'm going to say today that Ray worked with NASA on the Apollo missions, or they certainly used his special effects, because we're going to compare footage from one of Ray's films, The First Men in the Moon from 1964, to Apollo 11, the supposed moon landing 5 years later by NASA in 1969. The similarities are unbelievable. It's obvious NASA have used the same style special effects. First up, let's look at Apollo 11. Supposed docking. We're interested in the interaction between the craft and the moon, i.e. the way it's shot. And then we're going to compare it to Ray's film from 5 years earlier, which was 1964. Bear with me. First up, NASA, Apollo 11. The coming home, so to speak, of the pantomime prop. But let's have a look. No sound. We're interested in the interaction between the supposed craft and, in this case, the moon behind it. Okay, that'll do for now. Now we'll go to Ray's film from 5 years earlier. Now here's Ray's film from 5 years earlier. Again, we're interested in the interaction between the craft and the moon. God, the way it's shot. Not interested in this. Wow. I've got to say, that's exactly the same style special effects. Should we have a look one more time? This might have looked alright on a small, tiny black and white screen, or you're on your head, off your head on drugs, acid, or on your way to Woodstock or whatever. But dear, oh dear, looking at this now. I mean, I never fell for this nonsense anyway. Now let's go back to Ray and his... Okay, Ray's film. Not interested in this bit. This. Wow. It's exactly the same special effects that NASA used. It's the same. Let's check Ray's schedule for the same time the Apollo program was going on. Bear with me. The Apollo program ran from 69 to 72. Let's check Ray's schedule. Ray worked with a film called The Valley of the Quangy, which came out in September 1969. I'm guessing that was filmed possibly late 68. But essentially, from the end of The Valley of the Quangy, which was 69, to 73, Ray was off. So pretty much the time the Apollo program was on, Ray wasn't doing any film work. And yet the Apollo footage, particularly the docking stuff, has got Ray's hallmark all over it when we compare it to his film from 5 years earlier, The First Men in the Moon. Unbelievable. It's obvious the moon landing is ridiculous. You've only got to look at the evidence that is the footage. Comedy gold. But then when you compare it back to old special effects at that time, and one man sticks out, Ray, particularly when you compare it to one of his films involving the moon and spacecraft. It's exactly the same style special effects. It's obvious the moon landing's just a daft pantomime. Why? To get you to believe you live on an absurd ball flying through a vacuum. Ridiculous. Sorry if you think this is true. It's not. It's clearly absurd. The only thing pushed as evidence to back that absurdity is the moon landing. And quite clearly, again, we've exposed it for the nonsense that it is. I'm a bit gutted that Ray would seem that he was involved in that, because I'm a fan of his old movies. But it is what it is.